Masters Toronto is going into playoffs, and that means we've got another pick'em ahead. Now, for the playoff stage, I will not go into detail for each match individually since I just don't have the time. But I will upload the Excel sheets in the form how I did them previously in the post section whenever I'm available to, whenever I have the time. But yeah, there will not be any in-depth videos as there have been for the Swiss stage, since, yeah, as I've said, I don't have the time with work right now. So let's get into my pick'ems for the playoff bracket. So first of all, let's start with the easier matches. I think G2 are heavy favorites against Paper Rex. I don't think that Paper Rex are a bad team necessarily, but I don't think that they're that they've got a favorable matchup in G2 in their first round. So I do think Paper Rex will have a bit of a lower bracket run, but I do think they will lose their first match against G2 Esports, and yeah, we'll see how it might shake out for them in the lower bracket. And the other really one-sided match is RRQ against Wolves, in my opinion. I think RRQ are heavy favorites here as well. Now to the two harder games. I think when it comes to Fnatic versus Gen G, I do favor Gen G. I think Fnatic has to deal with having less time to prep, since EMEA had one more week of stage 1, or stage 1 did take a week longer for EMEA, so they don't have as much time prepping for Toronto as the other regions did. And also Gen G has just looked incredible in the Swiss stage, so that is why I favor Gen G over Fnatic and think they will take that match. Now, when it comes to XLG against Sentinels, I think it's pretty much a 50-50. Maybe I would have favored Gilai based on how they've played if YOU wouldn't be subbed out, if they wouldn't play with Midi, who they've not played with previously. So yeah, I think with how they've looked in China, you might say that they could win it, but since they're playing with a new player, and we've not seen them play on stage together, I will go with Sentinels here. So let's continue in the upper bracket. I think G2 are clear favorites over Sentinels. They've had their number pretty much all year except that one playoff match. Apart from that, they've looked sublime. And yeah, I think G2 are the heavy favorites coming into the tournament, and they've beaten Sentinels numerous times, so I see them going through. And same kind of goes for Gen G over RRQ. I know RRQ won the finals in stage 1, obviously, but I do think that Gen G have looked better in Swiss stage than they did in stage 1 and in the finals especially. So that is why I see Gen G going through here. I also just think that G2 and Gen G are currently the favorites to win this tournament. So that's why it makes sense to me to have these two teams meeting in the upper final. Now let's continue with the lower bracket. I think Paper Rex are gonna be Gilai. As I've said previously, I think Gilai has to deal with playing with a sub, and while it doesn't necessarily have to mean that they will be horrible, I don't think that they would have been a world beater to begin with. They would have been a decent team, but with the sub, I just don't know how good they are gonna be, and I do think that the Paper X train will be going strong at this point, and they will start their lower bracket run with this win over Gilai. Then Fnatic against Wolves. I think Fnatic can win this game, even though they didn't have as much prep time. I still see Wolves as the worst team going into that playoff bracket. So yeah, I hope that Fnatic can get that win, since I'm an EMEA fan, obviously. Now Fnatic against Sentinels, I kind of believe that this is the end for Fnatic. I think the preg time will just have that much of an impact as we've seen with Team Heretics as well. And yeah, I still also think that Sentinels is a really good team. They are for sure a top 4 team coming into this tournament. So yeah, I think it's fair to have Fnatic go out here against Sentinels. Now RRQ against Paper X, I think the train is gonna continue. I don't think that even coming into this tournament that RRQ looked that much better than Paper X in their matchup in that lower final in stage 1. And yeah, Paper X just they already secured their spot for Masters Toronto, so they wouldn't give it like 120% in that match. That's why I think even coming into this tournament, you could argue that Paper X might have actually been better than RRQ. And now definitely with more preg time and with the train going strong, I think Paper X are gonna beat RRQ. Next up in the upper final, I think G2 are gonna beat Gen G. As I've said before, G2 seem to be the heavy favorites. At least I have them as the favorites to win Toronto. So yeah, I don't think there's a team right now who can stop them. In the lower bracket, I think the Paper X train is gonna continue even against Sentinels. I think this is gonna be a close game, but I'm gonna stay with the train. But as I've said in the beginning, kind of, I think G2 and Gen G are the two best teams, and so I think in the lower final is the place where the Paper X train will be coming to a halt. And yeah, we're gonna get G2 against Gen G, the rematch of the upper final. And I think with the advantage of the map bans, of the 2 map vetoes, G2 is gonna take that final and will be the winners of Masters Toronto. So these are my Masters Toronto playoff black bracket Pickems locked in, and I wish you guys luck with your Pickems as well, and I'll see you guys next time.